Tottenham TV here, back here for another episode of Player Ratings. West Ham 2, Tottenham 1 at the London Stadium in a very detrimental defeat for our top four hopes. But let's get straight into it. Let's start off with Hugo Laurice. We gave him a 5. Look, I'm starting to really worry about Hugo because after praising him so much since he's come back from his injury, these mistakes really are starting to creep into his game, game after game now. There's another one today for the first goal I believe he should have done better for. And yeah, it's starting to worry me.
Yeah, apart from that, I actually made a few decent saves. Well, he didn't have too much to do, but he made one good save from Craig Dawson header in the first half. Second half, he didn't have too many saves to do, but pretty much 2 or 3 shots on target, and it was 2 goals. I think the first goal, I'm undecided whether he could have done better with it or not. I think it's whether Antonio got a touch on it. If Antonio does get a touch, I think it's harsh because he's literally right next to him, so I don't know what more he could do. But if he doesn't get a touch, I think he's definitely got to watch the flight of the ball better, and he's got to be able to push that away from goal or at least hang on to it. So I need to take another look at that. I'm undecided. But the second goal, it's a good strike by Lingard, but it's a bit frustrated. I'm getting a bit frustrated the fact that the teams against us are like having so few shots on target, but they all constantly getting goals, which is a bit frustrating. Look, it was a good goal, good strike. You wouldn't say it's a keeper mistake, but it's a bit frustrating at the moment from Hugo in that sense that we're not conceding too many shots on target. We keep conceding goals. Obviously, the defense has a lot to do with that, but Hugo has to take some of the blame. But all in all, maybe he probably should have done better with the first goal. That's the main point of action.
Next up, Jaffet Tanganga. We gave him a 5. Started off at right back. Wasn't really given the license to go forward that much. I felt that he stayed back quite a bit, quite reserved. Defensively, okay, but just didn't impact the game whatsoever, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought he dealt with Fornals on his side fairly well. But I felt like he went off at half time because we definitely wanted to force the issue more. We wanted to push the players up the pitch depth a lot more, especially from the fullback areas. First half, literally the only attack was coming down the left hand side. Rekhilon was the only player getting forward. Tanganga wasn't really getting involved, and that's why we subbed him off. And I could understand. I think it was the right decision. And Tanganga, you don't really want him in the team as a fullback when you're losing, kind of thing. You want him when you're trying to conserve a lead. I don't think he played awfully, but just for what we needed, he wasn't the right player at the time.
Which moves on to Sergio Rekhilon. We gave him a 5 as well. First game back from injury, and it seems as though he was kind of rushed back a bit, in my opinion. He did look kind of not 100% himself. He did look kind of off it. Quite a few rash challenges in there. A few times he was caught out of position. So yeah, Rekhilon, not a great return, but we do need him moving forward.
I would say he was off the pace. There's no doubt about it, especially when there's a few times he got into the final third and didn't make the most of it or wasn't providing much quality. And a few times as well, he was late to the tackle, making, as you said, stupid tackles, got a yellow card, and he was just off the pace a bit. But only thing I would say is it was good to have him back in the sense that in that first half, I felt a lot of the times he was getting up on our left-hand side, always providing an outlet, providing an out ball for us and being an option. And despite the fact he wasn't that good with the ball, I just felt like it was good to have him back in that sense.
It was good to have him back, but I just feel it was just a game too early, probably.
Maybe, but I think, when you've had an injury for a few weeks, it's always going to take a bit of time. It shouldn't take too much time, but a bit of time to settle back into things. And yeah, you're right. He wasn't 100%. We can both agree on that, and he wasn't at his best. But I think at least you could see, our attack was when it was predominantly down the left-hand side. He was always getting there. He was always in that position, and he was always providing an option. But he could definitely should have done better when he had the opportunities.
Yeah, and even without him being 100%, like you said, he still provides a really good outlet there on that left-hand side. Eric Dier, we gave him a 4. I mean, what can we keep saying about this guy, Eric Dier? I mean, time and time again, the same things keep happening again after again after again. Concentration levels you got to talk about, and just sheer. I don't know what to say about this guy anymore. Seriously.
Personally, I thought he was a tiny bit better than his partner. We'll get into him in a minute.
Yes,
but I thought, first goal, just lets go of Antonio, completely takes us off the ball. Whereas they've got Sanchez and Antonio both there, both on one player, and one ball over the top, and they both lose him. So they both have to take a lot of responsibility for that. In possession as well, I felt like the distribution for both our centre backs was not good enough. In the second half, when we were really pressing, he had a few opportunities when he wanted to either have a striker goal or provide a bit of quality in the final third. And obviously, it's not his job, but when he did have that opportunity, was found wanting big time. And at the end of the day, he's got to take responsibility for the goals we can see. I thought him and Sanchez for the second goal, absolute mess. It was like Dumb and Dumber at the back there, trying to defend that goal. And Lingard just stole in the back. I think his partner was more at fault, but he's not blameless by any stretch of the imagination. And he's got to really look at himself to think about what level he's playing at and how he can cut these mistakes out, because it's getting frustrating and it's getting tiring talking about them, to be honest.
Yeah. Which brings us on to his partner, Davidson Sanchez. We gave him a 4. Probably could have got less.
I think it was less.
That second goal was disastrous from him. It really was. I mean, what is he looking at? Players just creeping in behind him. He has no clue what's going on around him, not aware of his surroundings whatsoever. And you cannot do that as a Premier League centre-back. Time and time again, this guy is getting found out. And it's not just that. On the ball, how many times on the ball was it just going out for a throw-on to West Ham? How many times did this guy give the possession back to West Ham? Time and time again, this is happening. And when you look at our game against Wolfsberger in the week, possession-based football needs centre-backs that can pass the ball.
Yeah.
You look at Toby Alderweireld. Yes, he might not be the Toby Alderweireld of old, but at least he can still pass the ball. You saw against Wolfsberger, his pings and his passes were absolutely spot on that day. And you need a centre-back when you're playing possession-based football, like we did today, that can distribute the ball.
And Sanchez just can't do it. I've said it pretty much since he's come. That is my biggest gripe with him. And now the fact that his defensive side is letting him down big time, which means he's now become one of the weakest centre backs we've had in a while. To be honest, that's the reality where we are with Sanchez at the moment. First goal. Yes, Dier loses Antonio, but so does Sanchez. Sanchez has got him as well, and he's Antonio's standing in between them, and Dier gets distracted by the guy in front of him, so he moves, which was bad. But then Sanchez should be covering round. He doesn't. He lets Antonio go, and then not only do they let Antonio go, but they let him get the follow up as well. Where are they? Why aren't they following up? That was bad enough. Second half, that goal. I mean, Lingard still in between them. Dier's like literally trying to get two men because Sanchez is going AWOL. Sanchez has Lingard. He has him, and Lingard burst past him, and Sanchez should be busting a gut to get back and block the shot. He doesn't. He I don't know what it. I don't know if his lack of effort or what.
Sweat.
It was ridiculous. He barely put in an effort to try and stop Lingard for that second goal. And Lingard, obviously, from that position, you're maybe not expecting him to score, but when a player of Lingard's quality, there's always a chance you can find the back of the net. And so it proved it was a great strike. And Sanchez should be absolutely busting gut to get a tackle in there. He doesn't do it. He's out and caught our position on the ball. He's just horrific. He's just absolute joke. He can't pass the ball. This guy, he can't do it. Every time he tries a long ball, it goes out of play for a throw or a goal kick. And first of all, also, what I noticed something is they targeted him. Every time he had the ball, they were absolutely hounding him down and closing him down and making life very, very difficult for him, because they clearly have identified his lack of ability on the ball. Same thing Mourinho identified when he was Man United manager when Sanchez was playing for Ajax, and he hasn't. And the sad thing is, it's been 4 years since then, and he hasn't improved that aspect.
Joined us in 2017, I believe.
So it's been 4 years since that final, which Mourinho very famously said he targeted Sanchez because his lack of quality on the ball. And I don't know if he's worse than that than he is then, but he definitely hasn't improved. He might be worse. I don't know. I can't remember his time at Ajax, but man, it's frustrating with Sanchez. It is frustrating with Sanchez watching him week in, week out.
The facts of the matter is, he's the last centre-back signing we've done, apart from Joe Rodon aside. Obviously, you can't really count him. He's the last centre-back signing we've had to upgrade on Toby and Jan. And look, it's time to just cut our losses on him because look, he's had 4 years here now and he's just not getting better.
And even like Toby, like I remember when in Sanchez's first season, when Toby was put next to Sanchez, he didn't look anywhere near as good when he was next to Vertonghen. And that was even when Toby was at another level. So now Toby's declining. Obviously, it's going to have even more of an effect. And the only reason I can see Mourinho playing him is because of his physical qualities. But at the moment, it's not giving us enough, nowhere near enough. He's making constant mistakes. He's awful on the ball, and he's not making up for it in any other way.
You talk about his physical qualities, but he gets bullied off the ball more than any of our centre backs. It's ridiculous.
So, I mean,
for a guy of his size.
It's such a shame, but it completely hasn't worked out with Sanchez. I think we've just got to cut our losses at this point.
Moving on to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, we gave him a 5. I thought he took really long to grow into this game. I thought he was making mistake after mistake in those first 20 minutes. I did feel he grew into the game and he did put a lot of effort into the game, but I feel that he is being overplayed, and I feel that he does need a bit of a rest in this side. I really do that.
He got a rest on Thursday.
Yeah, but I think he needs more. Look, the guy, apart before Thursday, was playing every single game non-stop.
I know, but he got a week off. Like, he should be able to be on top of his game. And the manner in the start of this game was really sloppy for me. So sloppy. He was constantly overrunning the ball, constantly being tackled. Rice and Souček
overplaying passes.
He was making it easy for them. That's the poor thing. He got booked as well with a poor tackle in the first half, and he did have a really sloppy start. I did think he improved a lot in the second half. Him and Tongi definitely started to win that midfield battle, which caused us to be a lot more dominant and make a lot more chances. But in the first half, he was really off the pace, and that was a big worry in that sense. But he did improve, so yeah, that's that.
Tanguy Ndombele, we gave him a 6. Out of the two in the double pivot, I thought he was the better one. Yeah. I thought he was trying to make stuff happen when all around him there was no movement whatsoever. Tanguy gets the ball in the middle of the park. He's got a few players around him. He'll beat them. But then there's just no movement. So what's he supposed to do? We say it time and time again, especially when we have those kind of lethargic first half displays. In the second half, it was a bit better for him. But then kind of as we were getting better, he was tiring out of the game. Yeah. So it was a bit difficult.
He definitely wasn't at his sharpest. We can definitely agree on that. Like, he didn't have that box of tricks and stuff like that to kind of pull him out of the bag a lot of the time.
Those flashes.
Yeah, those flashes. Souček and Rice, I thought, were very physical with him, especially in the first half. But I thought, again, he grew into the game, but also tired. So he actually gained in influence. But the more he gained influence, because it was later in the game, he was kind of more tired. So that was a problem for him. But yeah, he was one of the only two of the 2 centimeters. He was definitely a lot better. I thought defensively he was very strong as well. I thought on the ball there weren't many opportunities for through balls and stuff like that, but at least he was getting it to attackers in pockets of space and things like that. How many times in that first half did we see an attacker in that pocket of space running at the West Ham back four with opportunities to make things happen? And that was a lot down to Ndombele and his incisive passing, but unfortunately nothing came of it. But yeah, he was good. I thought he played well, but wasn't at his sharpest.
Moving on to Heung-min Son, we gave him a 5. Hardly got involved, to be honest. I felt that in the first half, there was not much in it for him. In the second half, when we were more on the front foot and we were more like creating chance after chance, he was still a bit anonymous. There were a few moments in there where he could have made that decisive action and we could have been in, or a decisive action where on the edge of the area where he could have taken a better shot, but it just wasn't to be. It just wasn't his day, to be honest.
Yeah, he was a bit too anonymous for my liking for someone like Son's quality. Like, when when he gets in around the box, he's such a danger and such a clinical finisher. That's where you want him. And I thought he was definitely stuck way too far out wide, which was a problem. I felt that cross, though, he put in a few really good crosses from the left-hand side, which was positive. He was definitely playing more of a creative role than any sort of a finisher role, which he's definitely been playing more throughout the season. But when he did get chances to shoot, he fluffed his lines, unfortunately. And that is all summed up by there was one chance, literally one of the last kicks of the game, 93rd minute. He has a chance from just outside the box and he just balloons it over the bar. And that was that pretty much for him. Frustrating day. I thought he did some good things, but too anonymous. Needs to get more involved. So, yeah, that's that. All
right, Eric Lamela, we gave him a 7. Went off at half time, but I thought he was very bright in that first half. Probably our brightest spark in the first half. He was trying stiff all the time. He was getting on the ball. There was that one moment very early on in the game where he took it past like 3 or 4 men where something else could have happened, but it wasn't to be.
He played it through to Kane.
Played it through to Kane, and we all know what happened there. But look, Eric Lamela, I thought he was a really bright spark, but he got that booking. And he had to take him off at halftime because he was going to get sent off.
Yeah, it was an unnecessary foul as well. A sliding tackle like inside the West Ham halfway. There was no danger. It wasn't like they were setting off on a counter attack or anything like that. So that's a point of frustration from that point of view. But yeah, he was definitely our brightest attacker in that first half. He was picking up all pockets of spaces, and West Ham finding it hard to deal with him. And he was the one who looked like he was going to make something happen. That action you talk about right at the beginning of the game, where he ball rolls it past 3 or 4 players and sets through Kane. Not only did he use his skill, he used his strength as well. He was holding off Sufa, holding off Rice.
How many ball rolls were in there?
There was like 3 or 4. In fact, he probably did one too many, because Kane could have been played through earlier, but he's had to do a ball roll then playing Kane, which was a bit frustrating. But I thought he played really well for that first half, and was unlucky to be the one hooked. But unfortunately, because of that booking, that was the case, unfortunately.
Which moves us on to Lucas Mora. We gave him a 7. I thought it was bright from Lucas Mora. I really did. As you can see on the stats there, 4 completed dribbles, and I thought all 4 of them were really good. I thought he was trying, putting 100% effort, showing a tiny bit of quality, but ultimately it still wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, he got the header with the goal.
Yeah,
nice goal, nice header. He was one really trying to wriggle away from a few of the West Ham players and try and make some chances and stuff. His final ball again was frustrating, wasn't great, but at least out of the attackers, you didn't see Son doing those dribbles. That was Lucas.
He was trying to take the game to them, and that's what we've given him the rating for.
Yeah, and I thought he a number of times down that right hand side he was getting free and making things, but again, the final ball wasn't good enough.
And last but not least of the starting 11, Harry Kane. We gave him a 5. It just wasn't. It wasn't Harry Kane at his best today. It really wasn't. There are a couple of moments that through ball from Lamela, where Kane should have done better. And in that second half at 2-1, you've got Dele Alli in the box. And who else was in the box? I think Son in the box. Harry Kane does brilliantly to get in the position. He puts in a cross. All he needs to do is put it to the guy's feet, and he overplays it in between 2 players. And yeah, it just really wasn't one of Kane's good performances today. And he'll be looking at himself and kicking himself, because he knows if he did a few things better, then we could have been talking about a point or 3 points today.
All right, it's time to say it. Wasteful Kane. It's time to say it. And that was the fact. That was the case. Unfortunately, he was wasteful. He had a number of opportunities. First half, he had a couple of chances, one of them he hit wide after a good through ball by Lamela, we mentioned. One of them, he had actually a decent effort, but it was a good save from Fabianski, who tipped it wide and no one was following up. That was a decent effort. Second half, I mean, that chance, that's going to haunt me, because if he first of all, he waits too long to play the pass. If he plays it earlier, we had 2 free men in the box. We delayed it, allowed Rice to get back. And then the pass, it wasn't that the pass was accurate, it's that he delayed it. So when Rice is in position, so when he squares, it was actually going towards Son or Dele. It was going towards either of them. But unfortunately, because he delayed the pass, it was too late. And the chance was gone. And he even could have shot from that position, because he was in all kinds of space in that position. And you probably, from that position, with Kane with a free shot, you probably back him to score. But obviously, it was the right decision to square it. But he delayed the pass too long, and that was the most frustrating thing. Because if at that moment at 2-1, we had 10 minutes remaining at that point, I actually think we go on and win if we score that. He misses it, the chance goes. He was putting in a few really good crosses from that right hand side a number of times. Where it was flashing across the face of goal, Lucas just missing it, or Fabianski tipping it away, and that was unlucky. But he's got to look at first of all the chances he missed, and he's got to look at that one big chance which didn't go in, and that was the chance. That was the chance, because we were really knocking at the door really a lot against West Ham. They were struggling to contain us, and then we finally got that one really big opening we were waiting for to really get the goal, and unfortunately we fluffed it. To be fair to him, he recovered it and he laid it off to Bale, who hit the bar, unfortunately, which was a good pass. But look, it wasn't a horrific performance from Kane, but he was wasteful, and he should have done it. He's not going to have an easy night tonight, Kane, looking back at his chances he missed. All
right, let's touch on the substitutes. Gareth Bell came on at half-time. We gave him an 8. This was the one shining light from this game. It really was. He comes on at half-time, and I felt that he changed the game. He changed from being slow, static football. He changed it completely to being on the front foot, looking to make stuff happen. He was always looking to make stuff happen. Everything that was doing good in the second half all came through him. The sheer quality he has on the ball is head and shoulders above anyone else that showed on that pitch today. Head and shoulders. He was getting the ball on the right-hand side, pinging it over. How many times did he ping that over to Son?
Many.
Pinpoint passes.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. Hit the bar twice, was it?
No, I hit the bar once.
He hit the bar once.
Because it was Son at the end.
It was Son at the end. So yeah,
really a shot. Really.
Gareth Bell, best Tottenham player on that pitch by a country mile.
Yeah, he really did. Made a massive difference when he came in. It wasn't just his quality on the ball. I mean, it was all about his quality on the ball, but it wasn't just, I mean, like his quality in terms of passing and crossing and shooting, that technique that he used for that shot, which hit the bar. Absolutely astounding. Would have been an unbelievable goal because it's such a high, the ball was actually got quite high and he got his foot over it in great technique. But it was also his dribbling. I thought he was sharp. I thought it was really hard for West Ham to get near him. I thought a number of times he was coming short and finding him pockets of space.
They didn't know how to handle
they
him,
couldn't track him. They really couldn't track him. He was creating. He played that amazing through ball for Kane, which Kane fluffed. A really good piece of play. He took the corner for the Lucas goal. A really nice corner. Obviously, you don't want to give too much credit for a corner, but it was a nice corner, and we've had troubles from that in the past. Him at the end was the only one who really got the ball down and was showing a bit of composure and actually finding men in the box to create opportunities. It was actually players around him who lacked that composure and was lacking in trying to make things happen. And it was really positive. The first time, definitely in the Premier League match this season, where he's really made a real impact. We've seen an actual quality player in Gareth Bell show what he can do. And he seemed to really want to make a difference when he came on. This didn't look like a guy who's folded and doesn't care anymore and just wants to see out his contract and wants to go back to Madrid and go back to sitting on the bench or whatever. He looked like he had a point to prove. And that was a positive. And we just need to see that more often. We want to see him start more. Obviously, you can criticize Mourinho for not starting him, but I thought at least when he came on, he made a real impact. And if we didn't concede that stupid goal at the end of the second half, end of the first.
Beginning of the second half.
If we didn't see that stupid goal at the beginning of the second half, it would have been so different. But unfortunately, we shot ourselves in the foot, and he tried to save us, but he couldn't.
He has to be one of the first names on the team sheet at the moment.
Well, no, let's just. Yeah, I mean, he had a great game, but we need to see consistently from him, and we have been seeing a couple of games
consistently. That's the point.
That's true, but I'm not going to say he needs to be the first name on team sheet yet.
I want to see Kane, Bale, and Son start the majority of Premier League games from here into the end.
If he continues his level,
if he continues what he showed against West Ham.
100%.
Moving on to Matt Doherty, we gave him a 5. I thought he provided a better outlet than Tanganga, definitely, in that second half. He came on at half time, by the way, for Jaffet Tanganga. I felt that he provided a better outlet, but still, his quality on the ball and his crosses in the box were not good enough.
Yeah, I thought he linked up well with Bale on the right hand side. A number of times Bale was playing him in and he played Bale in, and it was quite a good combination. But yeah, again, his crossing was just lack of quality, big lack of quality. When you got players in the box like White, Kane, and Bale waiting for good quality delivery. Even look, we can see this. Sterling can win a header because if the ball's good enough, you can win the header.
Well, Lucas won the header in the box anyway.
Exactly, but unfortunately, whenever Doherty got the opportunity to get whipping a ball in the box, whether it was a low cross or a high cross, he was found wanting, and it wasn't.
I'll commend him for being in the right positions. I thought that he really was in the right positions, and he did provide that good outlet, but he just needs to improve his quality of his crosses,
because that's what we criticized him before earlier in the season for not really being the outlet that he was at Wolves, being an option, when we're going forward and actually getting those positions. He's now doing that. He just needs to find a bit more quality now, and maybe we have an above average right back. At the moment, he's still a bit average.
And last but not least, Dele Alli, we gave him a 5. Look, it was very, very frustrating. There were some good moments in there in terms of the way he was getting involved, but he was ultimately very frustrating. And what encapsulated that was that back heel in the last 5 minutes, when we're pushing for that goal at 2-1 down. He just aimlessly back heels it into absolutely no one. And that was just so frustrating. And that's what basically put him down so many marks. It's just because these tricks and these flicks aimlessly without looking to anyone, and it's just not going to do anyone any favors, and it's just so frustrating.
He frustrated me when he came in. And fair enough, look, he's got 15 minutes to come on and we're losing and we have to try and make something happen. I'm not against him trying things, but it's just the way he does it. And
do it with some head, man. Do it with some brains.
Exactly. And like that back flick, right? If it comes off, it's great, but he doesn't need to back flick it. Son is free in the box on the left-hand side. Yes, he could technically find it with a back heel, but if he just quickly does a turn and passes it, Son is in. But he decides to do a back flick. He decides to do something fancy, and it doesn't come off. There was another opportunity where we had the ball. He had 2 West Ham players on him. He tries to do a little trick or something, and he ends up losing the ball like on the halfway line, and it just caused more problems. I understand he tried to. I don't think he came on and he didn't care or anything like that. I think he tried. He tried to make a difference. He did try to make a difference, and that's, look, I'm not going to blame him for that, but just really frustrating sometimes where we're in a good position and he doesn't need to do a flick. He doesn't need to do something fancy. He just needs to do something really simple to get us in a good position. And he tries to do something the fancy way, and it doesn't come off for him, and ends up the move breaking down. And unfortunately, I don't remember too many shots or too many chances he created when he came on. So at the end of the day, it was the lasting memory of those stupid flicks. And that's all we can remember. But I do think he did try to make a difference and did try to, get a goal or make something happen, but it just didn't work out.
Let's finish on talking about Jose Mourinho. I felt that first half wasn't good enough, clearly. Second half, I think he changed things for the better. And I think that it was working. And I don't think it's down to Jose Mourinho why we lost today. I really don't.
Yeah.
What can you say about the Dier and Sanchez if they do that? And what can you say about the attacking line with Son and Kane and Lamela and Lucas and Bale, all of them, for not putting away the chances? So, I mean, he can't account for these things. He just can't.
You can't sit there and tell me we played a defensive game today. You can't sit me and tell me we parked the bus. That's not reality. You can't sit here and tell me that we didn't create chances. We created loads of chances. Fabianski was very, very busy. Kane had loads of chances. Son had a few chances. Lucas and Lamela both had opportunities. You can't tell me that he didn't set up the team to attack and he didn't set up the team to create chances. And how many chances do we concede with the 2 goals and then that Craig Dawson header? Other than that, what chances did we concede? I can't remember too many, but it just seems that every single time we'll make a mistake, it's just costly. It's so detrimental, and especially in a game like this when we're a must win to keep our top 4 hopes alive. It's so crucial that we start on the front foot in both halves and really get into this team. Like the way we started both halves is unforgivable and criminal, absolutely criminal. And obviously Mourinho doesn't tell them to start off the game like that, but he definitely has to take some responsibility for not making sure the team is really sharp at the beginning of the game. But he can't account for those sloppiness with the centre backs for those 2 goals.
What he can account for is keep playing players like Davidson Sanchez. I would have played Toby, and I think he missed the trick there with not playing Toby. And like I said before, when we were talking about Sanchez, when you're playing a possession-based game, and we clearly played that today, you need someone who can pass the ball, and Sanchez can't pass the ball.
I know, but you also need someone who is able to allow you to push the team up so that you're not caught out by Antonio and Bowen and these players every time they go forward. And I didn't think we were, to be fair. I didn't think we were caught out too many times, because I thought actually, apart from the mistakes, we've said that so many times, I agree, it's ridiculous, but apart from those stupid errors, like there was a few times Sanchez did some good stuff and he was mopping up and he was cutting out West Ham counter-attacks, and from that point of view, from a structural point of view, it was working. We were catching West Ham from the counter. They weren't really that much of a threat. And when we went forward, we were creating chances. And also when Rekhilon went off, we didn't even play with a left back yet. We were still pretty good. We were still creating chances, and we were still even though we might have been a bit unbalanced, we still looked effective. But he can't put the chances away for them, and he can't make sure that Dier and Sanchez don't have these brain farts. He can't do that, and it's so clear to me what I'm seeing. Like, I'm not seeing a team that's not fighting for him. I'm not seeing a team that's downing tools or anything like that. I'm not seeing a team that isn't competitive in games. I'm not seeing a team who's not creating chances. I'm not seeing a team who's leaking loads and loads of chances in every game. But what I am seeing is a team in crucial moments making really bad errors, and a team that is being wasteful in terms of the chances they create. But,
and on top of that, just luck. We're just not getting any luck whatsoever.
When that Son chance at the end hits the post,
there's no luck whatsoever. When I thought West Ham rode their luck pretty much.
Big time.
Pretty much for around, 60 minutes today?
You can't sit here and tell me the West Ham was a better team today. They weren't the better team.
West Ham rode their luck so much in that second half today.
John tells me all the time about how when we sit back and we're lucky because this team, like, even though we don't miss chance, we don't concede too many chances, we're lucky because they got in good positions. Look at the positions we got in today. So many times, even when we didn't get shots on goal, there were so many times we were in really good positions and we didn't make the most of it. But there's only so much Mourinho can do. As even Pep said, like, his job is to get the team from here to here and then once in terms of the final third, and once it gets to the final third, it's up to the players to make the right decisions. And I thought we did really well in terms of the progression of the ball. There were so many times we're sitting here players saying we're playing really good football right now. One touch, getting the ball in behind the defense, stretching West Ham. They didn't know how to deal with us. They couldn't pick up our players. But it's up to the players to make that final thing. And he's trying. I can see what he's trying to do, Mourinho. And I obviously he's not blameless. He's not blameless.
Of course not.
Because of a lot of stuff that's happened this season. And you know, he's got to take a lot of blame for that.
But in the hierarchy of blame, he's probably at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm saying in the bigger picture, from what I'm seeing in the bigger picture of the pitch of how the game's being played out, I can't sit here in good conscience and say he's at fault for it or he's the main guy to blame. And if we get rid of him, it's going to solve our problems, because I just don't see that. That's not what I personally see. I understand people's opinions, and you know, the biggest gripe for me with Mourinho is the fact that he was brought in for this mentality to shift that mentality and stuff, and that just hasn't happened. And in fact, you could even argue our biggest problem this season has been our mentality, and he's got to take a lot of responsibility for that. However, you know, there's only so much I can blame him for when Sanchez is doing stupid stuff like he did today, and where Kane isn't playing the ball quick enough when he's in behind the defense and crucial moments, and it ended up costing us. But top four looks like it's gone now.
Yeah,
unfortunately, unless we go on a mad run from now to the end of the season, I think it's gone. Unfortunately, we just got to accept that, and I think we just got to put our hopes in the Europa basket. Luckily, I think we've got a good chance in it, and I think, you know, if we play our cards right, we can go very far and even win it, and we can still have a good season. But it's looking less and less likely with each game.
Slim, isn't it?
With each game that goes by, it's just getting less and less likely.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is it. That is our player ratings. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree with our player ratings. If not, put your player ratings in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.